Alright, so today we're looking at the dungeoning. So the dungeoning is a roguelike 2D platformer where you play as a little knight here. Yeah, so you start off as this little knight and you kind of don't really know what's going on here, but you start off with a couple weapons. You have a sword, a bow, and a wooden slingshot. So you have projectiles, and then you also have, something like a sword, a melee weapon. Pretty much everything in this game can kill you. So everything down from the bushes to some of the ceiling blocks that fall down to the enemies that are laying around. You can actually also take some fall damage if you fall from too far. So there's a lot of stuff here that you have to just kind of be very careful with. And what kind of makes that interesting is the controls are a little... They feel like they're a little bit delayed, almost like you're playing like a Mario Ice level. It feels like if you're running and you let go, it's going to take just a second to stop, So it's interesting, like, trying to be precise with that kind of stuff. You get a couple other things. So you also have a shield that you can block with. So you can block other enemies and things like that. They're projectiles. And you'll kind of go through the stages and just kind of find some crates or enemies and finding little items that you can pick up throughout the stage as well. So these items can range anywhere from being like a potion to just more coins to use if you find a merchant that's selling weapons, or I don't even know what the hell that was. What is that guy? Where did he come from? Yeah, so if you find a merchant and stuff, you can buy some things. You can also use the items, obviously. If you notice, like, every time you kill one of these bad guys here, you actually you kind of harvest their soul, I guess. You get kind of some experience points from that kind of stuff. So the goal of each level is to find this exit here, but you can obviously explore the dungeon that you're at a little bit more to find extra items and things like that before you move on. I think the game obviously knows that you're going to be getting hurt pretty often, so they have a dedicated heal button, which is the Y button on the Xbox 360 controller. So you just kind of hit it and it'll consume items from your inventory. So yeah, that'll kind of help you out with your health. You find these treasure chests as well every once in a while. Sometimes they'll have scripts, and scripts you can use those scripts to upgrade either like your speed or your health or something. And it's just a one-time use, and not one-time use. It's a permanent upgrade, but it's just a quick use of it. Yeah. So you find the exit here. There you go. We'll go to the next dungeon. See what this looks like. So the game will kind of automatically start introducing some new enemies as you progress through the dungeon. So you may find a couple here and there that are new, but for the most part, there's kind of like these worlds. I don't know how often they change. I think it's maybe every 4 or 5 stages, 3 maybe. But you'll have some new environments and some new enemies every once in a while. But the biggest thing with this game is that since it's randomly generated, you're not going to be making progress by just memorizing the layout of the stages and all that kind of stuff. You kind of are just rewarded by taking your time with everything and recognizing and realizing all the enemies' patterns. Honestly, I think the easiest way to die in this game is just not to, plan out your attacks and be patient. As long as you're patient, actually, I think this game is relatively easy. It's actually funny because it was taking me I was about 2 hours in when I was pretty close to the last level. And at that point, it was just wearing on me. So it's kind of interesting seeing how something like that can happen with a game where you have to take so much patience. It's kind of like a stealth game almost, where, you know, sometimes you just need to run around and have some action, you know? So this game here was originally on early access, and that's kind of where I first picked it up. But it's been in full development now. It's been released pretty recently. And I play with an Xbox controller, so it runs relatively smoothly. I'm not a huge fan of the art style. I think it's pretty nice. The lighting looks really good, but yeah, I've kind of feel like it's a little too simple for me, just a little bit. But yeah. So you'll find like all the kind of souls that you collect and experience points and things like that you use to upgrade yourself. You'll have a full menu here. So things like the items that you're carrying and anything that you want to look at, there's further detail on each one of those items and what they do, which is really useful. You have all your consumables. So here's like a red potion for health, blue potion I think is for stamina or something. Yeah, so you can use these to increase your health and all that kind of stuff. Here you'll see this is where you use your XP. I think the menus are a little cramped here, but you know, if you read through it, you'll be able to see everything properly. So I can use my XP to upgrade my strength and my defense, and then, you know, wait for the next stuff. So yeah, that stuff is relatively simple. There's not too much to that, so I really like the simplicity in the game, and I think kind of sucked me in by, you know, it starts off relatively hard because you're not used to playing a game that's this slow or makes you think about your moves as much, you know, so it definitely brings something different to the table in that regard. And then you just kind of want to see yourself go to the end, you know. So I think it's just that drive. Like, you play it a couple times and you're like, man, this game's hard. The more you play it, the more you start to recognize patterns. You're like, oh, I could get through that. I could get through that. And just the further you get, each time you're just learning something brand new. So it makes it highly replayable, at least till the end of the game. But I actually do see this being a pretty good game for something like speed runs, things like that. Because, you know, you're relying more on a skill than luck. I mean, you can have a pretty lucky seed, I guess, but you're relying kind of like on all the patterns that you've recognized and everything like that. So overall, I've really enjoyed this game, to be honest. The music's pretty good. It's not too bad. It lays a nice bed for the gameplay, but it's not too in your face or anything, or too catchy or anything like that. So it's okay. Yeah, super impressed by the fact that this is all made by one person. Art, music, code, everything, design. So I'm definitely seeing or looking forward to what this guy is gonna come out with next, to be honest. So yeah, that is The Dungeoning for PC. Check it out. It's on Steam now. Yeah, I definitely recommend picking it up if you think something like a 2D platforming Dark Souls sounds interesting at all to you. Definitely pick this up. I think you'll really like it.